doesn't really matter what style of saxophone playing you're into, understanding the basic mechanics of jazz will help you to become a better saxophone player. And that's because the basic mechanics, the building blocks, I suppose, of melody, harmony, and improvising that we talk about in jazz can be applied to every other possible style of playing that you could imagine, from pop to blues to ska to gospel to any sort of commercial style. And that's the reason why inside Sax School over the past few months, we've been doing this very exciting series of masterclasses called How Jazz Works. And today, you lucky thing, I want to give you a quick peek behind the curtain at the latest installment in this really amazing series of masterclasses that we're running with the help of one of my tutors, Joel Purnell. So that's what we're going to do today. Stick around. I think you'll really enjoy this. And even if you're not necessarily thinking of yourself as a jazz player, you need to check this out just so you can understand why it's so important to you. Okay, let's get stuck in. G'day, it's Nigel here from Sax School Online. Thanks so much for joining me again for one of these videos. If we are meeting for the first time, then consider subscribing so you don't miss any future videos. And if you're coming back to watch again, it's great to see you back. How you doing? How you doing today? Are you having fun? Are you getting some good saxophone practice in? Right, straight out the gate, let me introduce you to one of my tutor team. His name is Joel Purnell. He's an amazing jazz educator. I'll tell you about him in a second.
Hi.
Joel has been presenting this series of masterclasses to our members. This is Joel.
Hi, I'm Joel Purnell and I recently joined Sax School as an accelerator tutor just at the beginning of this year. It's a great place to be, a great community, and I'm really glad to be here.
Now, Joel looks like a kind of unassuming kind of guy. He's a blistering player, let me tell you. And if you don't know about Joel, then he has been teaching jazz at the prestigious Leeds Conservatoire of Music here in the UK for like the last 20-something years. And he really knows his stuff. He knows a thing or two about jazz, let me tell you. But what I love most about Joel is the way that he's broken down these really important concepts into really simple, easy to digest steps for all of our members. So we've been really digging in and learning loads about all of the structure of jazz. Now, of course, this whole series of masterclasses, we've made them for our members. And yes, there's a 14-day trial link down below. And yes, if you grab the 14-day trial, you'll get access to all of these masterclasses and the whole library of like 1,000 other lessons. If you want to go check that out, I'd love to see you in there. Links are down below. But let's get stuck in now. And I'll get Joel to tell you a bit more about what this series is all about and what's included in the latest masterclass, which will really blow your mind.
Yeah, this is the third in a series of masterclasses on how jazz works. So far we've looked at how rhythm works in jazz and also the background of how to build strong melodies, and we've compared different types of music and the commonalities between them and how it all works, as the name suggests.
So you can see there's absolutely tons packed into this masterclass series. In fact, even the rest of the tutor team were blown away by how much stuff was packed in, and we were learning stuff too. I tell you what, how about we have a bit of a look at this latest session. Here's a little snippet from the whole masterclass.
In this masterclass, we're going to look at some secrets of the bop players by analysing some things that they said in various interviews, putting it all together and coming up with a method that meant they played melodically but simply over standard changes. So, what was Stan Getz talking about? So if we look at the chords of Days and Wine and Roses and we identify these key notes all the way through the piece, it tells us a lot about exactly what sounds we need to focus on whilst improvising over these chords.
Yeah, there was a really cool part in this masterclass where Joel was talking about how a lot of the older players, like the classic guys that we listen to and love and have learned from on their recordings, like Stan Getz, or even going back earlier than that, Coleman Hawkins, Ben Webster, Charlie Parker. He was talking about the way that they learned, the way that they approached improvising, and how it's possibly quite different to the way we teach jazz in institutions like where Joel teaches at the Conservatorium here in Leeds in the UK. And so what he was breaking down was an analysis of the way that these older guys looked at improvising, because there's a really cool secret in there that you can use for making basically a shortcut to improvising in your own playing. So that's kind of what he talks about. And he goes into it in loads of depth in the actual masterclass, but this is just a little snippet. Right, I'll stop interrupting. Let's get back to it.
Remember, backing tracks are a relatively new thing, and the great masters of jazz probably did a lot of practice without backing tracks because they didn't have them. So, it's a great thing for us to practice too. We can play some chord tones to establish the sound in our head, and then just maybe work on the sound and explore the sound before moving to the next set of chord tones. It's a great exercise, and it takes away the pressure that tempo gives you.
Right, so that's just a quick little teaser from part 3 in this series on how jazz works. And in that particular session, actually, Joel really explored this secret system that he talks about. And I loved it because it was so simple. And for a lot of our members who are really just starting out with improvising, it was something that they could apply to their improvising to quickly get some results. And also, it helped them to understand the harmony better, which I think is one of the things that we all struggle with. Because once we understand the harmony, it then helps us to be able to move in time with the backing track, to keep everything together and to create melodies that actually work and we feel confident with and we're proud of. We make really sensible choices with our melody lines. That's really what this session is all about. And at the end of that process, you get to do something a bit like what Joel was playing just a second ago. Now this is part 3 in the series. We've got part 4 coming up soon. In part 1 and 2, Joel was digging into really basic concepts about melody and about rhythm. And I think when you join 1 and 2 and then this third session together, you really start to get a strong understanding of the basic mechanics of jazz. And that's what I was talking about right back at the start of this video. Now we've got part 4 coming soon and part 5 as well, but we're really going down the rabbit hole and digging into some more advanced concepts. And in the fifth session, we're actually pulling everything together to give you some really useful tactical things that you can apply in your playing to help with your improvising and pull it all together. So look, I hope you enjoyed this little peek behind the scenes at this series from Joel. This is just one of the series. We've got loads of stuff like this going on in Sax School. But if you'd like to really check this out and see if it's for you, then grab that 14-day trial that I mentioned down below. You can also get it from the courses page of our website over at saxschoolonline.com. Most importantly though, keep having fun with your saxophone and keep picking up your saxophone and enjoying playing it every day. And I hope the rest of the content on my channel here helps you to do that. So have some fun, keep practicing hard, and I'll catch you next time.